All right, boys and girls, here's Unit 7 on the Byzantine Empire. Today we're going to go over Part 1. Part 1, yes. Remember, the Byzantine Empire is the eastern part of the Roman Empire. When the Roman Empire got too big, they split it in half. The capital of Rome was moved to Byzantium, and then they changed it to Constantinople. As you'll see, Constantinople, Byzantium, was a pretty nice location to center a new capital of a new empire. Okay, so let's get to it. So as you can see here is Rome. And then here's the western part, which spoke Latin. Purple part of the eastern part speaks Greek. And here's Constantinople, right on the Bosporus Strait. It's significant, okay, because it's like kind of at the crossroads between two continents, Europe and Asia. Yes, Asia. 4 advantages of Constantinople's location. Protection of the eastern frontier. Okay. Constantinople was away from all the scuttlebutt, the battling, the sacking, the looting of Rome, which made it far from Germanic invasions in the Western Empire. It was at the crossroads of trade. Here is Asia, right on this side of it, and then Europe is over here. And it was easily defended on a peninsula with a natural harbor next to the Bosporus Strait. So it was a good location to be defended. And again, Constantinople was kind of the gateway city between two continents that wanted to exchange a lot of different things. A lot of economic activity, cultural activity, etc. Okay. Here you can see it in the background. Here's the Hagia Sophia, which is now a mosque, but at one point in time it was a Christian church. This role of Constantinople, it was the seat of the Byzantine Empire until the Ottoman conquest, which we'll talk about later. And when we say seat of the Byzantine Empire, we're just meaning that this is where all the power was based from for this empire. They preserved the classical Greco-Roman culture. Okay, remember when they moved the capital from Rome to Constantinople, they saved a lot of those writings, manuscripts, books, etc. from both Greece and Rome. And again, reinforcing the point that it was the center of trade between Europe and Asia. And you can see here, Constantinople is far and away from Rome, which is constantly being besieged by the Germanic tribes. Okay, and again, Rome was, hey, let's take down Rome. All right, Byzantium or Constantinople wasn't quite as attractive, and people didn't know it, recognize it as much as they did the city of Rome. Here you go again, more advantages. Okay, and obviously the Bosporus Strait connects the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, which goes to the Dardanelles Straits, which takes us to the Aegean Sea, which takes us to the Mediterranean Sea, and on and on and on. Here you go again. Here is Constantinople, formerly known as Byzantium, then later Istanbul. And again, this gateway between Europe and Asia. So it was a prime location for setting a new city for a new empire. As you can see there. Okay, this is kind of what it looked like at the time. Byzantine Empire was had one of its most famous rulers from the outset. His name was Justinian, and he had 4 important things that he did. The first was he reconquered Roman lands. His new Byzantine Empire was almost as big as Rome's had been. It would shrink over time and be conquered by the Ottoman Turks, who were also Muslim. Okay, so the territory that was lost to the tribes that invaded Western Roman Empire, he would reclaim most of those back and restore the glory of Rome. He made Constantinople a center of trade and economic prosperity. So Constantinople was the hub. It was the new hot city, if you will, in the world. Justinian's Code, which we'll get to here in a minute. And there's, again, reclaiming. This is all the stuff that he reconquered. All right. Again, not quite as big as the Roman Empire, but he did a pretty good job of taking back what Rome once had. Okay. And the old Roman Empire was all the way up through here, Gaul, Spain. But again, here's the Hagia Sophia, which was a famous church. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Hagia Sophia in class. Some pretty cool things about that. But again, it started as a Christian church, and then later on, when it was taken over by the Muslims, they made it into a mosque. All right. Perhaps one of his most important things was the Justinian Code, which again was they took all these laws that were totally mixed up and unorganized and codified them. Okay, this legal code became the basis of law in most Western European countries. His system of laws was very easy for the average person to understand. So he grouped the laws by civic laws, criminal laws, property laws, marriage laws, business laws, all those things, so that everything was together, not in 50 or 100 different locations. All right. Byzantine art and architecture. Art was inspired by Christian religion and imperial power. So it was inspired by God and the emperors and their feats and achievements. Again, the Hagia Sophia, which was a Byzantine domed church. You had icons, which were religious images, and mosaics. All right, and here are some mosaics. Mosaics, this part's a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Mosaics were designs formed by inlaid pieces of stone and glass and enamel. They covered floors, walls, and ceilings, usually religious in nature. The figures in mosaics appear stiff and artificial. They're not very real looking, even though they are very detailed. And the calm faces try to inspire reverence and renouncing of earthly pleasures. So mosaics were supposed to symbolize good values. They weren't necessarily what some of the mosaics you might see here in today's world with different like pictures and things like that. So you can see the pieces here. Okay, crap. Oh, I got messed up. Okay, but you can see this piece here, and then you add that, and you can see all the little tile pieces. Okay, very detailed, even using different colors for shading. Okay, so some pretty amazing stuff that the Byzantines, they certainly specialized and put the mosaic art form front and center in their culture. And here's another one. This one's inside a dome of a church. It's all mosaic, little pieces of stone or glass. Here's another. And again, they look like drawings, but when you get up close, you can definitely see the little pieces that form them. Okay. Icons were small religious pictures used to help focus prayer. All right. So if you couldn't read the prayers in the Bible, okay, or understand them, seeing a picture of an angel, Jesus, Mary, the saints, or the angels could be pretty helpful. Most of the time they were painted on wood and sometimes with gold leaf, which is a very thin material, which looks like gold, but also makes it more rich looking, if you will. A couple more. This one I believe is made with gold leaf here. Gold leaf is very fragile. It tears very easily. Like a thin film that they used to coat things with. And then Byzantine art. They also did like illuminated or illustrated or illuminated manuscripts, which are pretty cool looking. Sometimes you see these in old books.
All right. And then Byzantine culture itself, again, they continue to flourish using the Greco-Roman traditions, mixing Greek and Roman art, architecture, blending it into their own. Greek, they spoke Greek. Okay, remember, Greek in the east, Latin in the west. And then they had, for Christianity, something called Greek Orthodox Christianity, which was part of Eastern Orthodox Christianity. And again, Greek and Roman knowledge was preserved in Byzantine libraries. So even though we're done talking about Greece and Rome, their ideas, their writings, all the things that kind of made them important and influential to the rest of the world were carried on and preserved by the Byzantine Empire. All right, so that's that. Finish those up. Look back over the notes. You may or may not have, excuse me, you may or may not have a pop quiz next class. So study up, boys and girls, and I'll see you then.